Welcome, you, to this week's edition of Internet's Drunkest Music Nerd and reviewing. I get a text on my phone. And reviewing. This week's album is Mad. I'm gonna change this beer for now. I'm gonna take you on a tour. So, I have been drinking several things tonight. First and foremost has been what I like to call the most natural of ices. It's natural, natty ice, and it's disgusting and horrible. I'll show you my collection real quick. It's not my collection. I'll show you my collection. This is a pyramid. It's a beer pyramid. It's not very impressive yet, but I'm building it. Don't you worry about it. I'm building it. Take this over here. Take this. I keep getting texts. I'm so popular tonight. Oh my god. And then I've also been drinking Tanqueray gin. I'll move this down a little bit so you can get a little better view. Tanqueray gin. And Canada Dry tonic water. So gin and tonic. It's been delicious. And I'm feeling just nice about it. It's been a nice night. I'm going to drink some of this right now. Just real quick. A big old gulp. Alright. And we're back. So, the album that I reviewed tonight was entitled, if I can pick it up right now, which is doubtful. Because my computer enjoys being a shit and making me feel like a piece of shit as well. But Madvillainy, I'll just start talking about it. I've never heard it before. I'm not super familiar with this genre of experimental abstract hip-hop. I'll be realistic with you all, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I know that's not a surprise, because I'm often pleasantly surprised. I have lower expectations than I need to on many things. But that's a good problem to have. Regardless, the album started, and the first track had some very disconcerting just noise coming from both sides of the headphones. I can show you headphones if you want, but I think I showed them in the last video, so I'm not going to now. But it had strange noise coming in from both ears, and it really, I don't want to, of course it's not Death Grips inspired, but it was experimental in the sense that Death Grips is experimental. It was, I don't know how else to put it. It was interesting, and it continued on into a nice skit of some kind. But really from there, the album progressed into a few strong tracks that were reminiscent of like East Coast hip-hop. And East Coast hip-hop is cool. I like East Coast hip-hop. But it really wasn't doing anything new for me. However, and I'm going to pause my review here because my word duck is being a bitch. So I'm going to see if I can pull that up. So, BRB. Mutants. Alright, so we're back with Internet's Drunkest Music Nerd. And initially, basically, here's the deal. I'll explain to you concisely and initially. I saw the track list, and I was intimidated. I'll be honest. I'm not usually intimidated, but there was a lot of tracks, and I didn't know what to make of it. But then I saw that most of them were exceedingly short. You know, I hate making comparisons to Guided by Voices, but it kind of seemed as the album progressed from one song to another that it was like kind of Guided by Voices in hip hop form in a small way. I don't say that's all what it was like, but they were condensing so many ideas into just 1.5 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, 30-second songs in such a great way. They were getting all the ideas that they needed to out in a very short amount of time, and they were done. That was it. Both MF Doom and Villain Guy, and I'm going to get some flack for forgetting his name, but I just kind of hit myself in the balls with that pat, and I feel uncomfortable now. Either way, one second. Continuing on the past thought. Here is the deal. No, it's not. The deal's not here. Alright, finally continuing. So, basically, the first few tracks were good, and then Accordion had like almost an indie pop style beat, which I thought was cool. I enjoyed it. It was playful and it was melodic in a good way. And then from there, it moved into like an East Coast hip hop jazzy kind of groove for a while. And while I liked that style, it was just mostly unimpressive because I've heard that done time and time again. However, once it hit about halfway through, like from Raid and the like rainbows and curls on out, it moved into this whole other realm of like experimental, just great production hip hop. And there's really no other way to describe it other than mostly unlike anything that I've heard recently, at least. And from at about Shadows of Tomorrow, I realized that this album, more than most other recent hip hop albums I've heard, is taking me on a journey. Like a unique and specific, it's taking me from one destination to another. There was a clear direction. There was a. Take a drink. There's a clear direction. And it really brought it to the place that I was leaning to. It really brought it to the. And it's cliche. I feel bad saying it. I enjoyed the production on this album. I really did. That's what made it for me. The rapping was passable. It was subpar, but it was passable. He had this whole nonchalant, not lazy, but kind of like Julian Casablanca style, just like I don't really give a fuck vocal style. And the topics he was rapping about were pretty cool as well. I looked up the lyrics to probably about 3 or 4 songs on the album. I should have looked up more, but this is again my first time listening to it, and they were interesting enough. He was rapping about he was rapping about plenty of topics. Either way, halfway through the album or so, it just kind of set into a groove of this whole experimental hip hop style, and it moved away from that initial jazzy East Coast style that I wasn't super a fan of. And I don't want to go track by track, but especially I would say that Strange Ways and Fantasy Clown were far and away just like the best 1-2 punch on the album. Like both of those, as they were going on, my jaw was dropped on both of them, and I think it was pretty cool. But because of the short nature of the album, I would almost say that. All right, so conclusion, because I can't find any of the, because all the documents on my computers are dying. I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about how the last 4 tracks in this album were great, and I think that MF Doom and other guys should be very proud of themselves for their work. And overall, I would rate it. I forgot to make a rating. I got a little drunk this time, guys. Sorry. You're fine with it. I forgot my pen. I will rate it awesome. It gets an awesome. That's my score for it for today. And if you're feeling lucky, you can tune in for more reviews because there's going to be more, and you're welcome at them, and you should be, because I'm internet's busiest music nerd. Dubs, check them, and you should have a good day. What should I review next? Dubs, check them. Dubs, let's go.